Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching. Welcome back to Garblag Games and our Wednesday stream. I am Aaron. I am going to be your narrator. And as we promised, we are back for season 2 of the Marvel Multiverse, Cataclysm of Kang.
Woo!
You may notice that our cast is a little truncated at the moment, but have no fear. The rest of Operation Pendragon will be back. We're just going to see if we can kill off Professor Kronos and the Eldritch Knight while everybody is off having a tea or some such. So, just for everybody's information, what we're going to do to start out today is first we're going to talk about ranking up. So, all of Operation Pendragon, all of our characters went from rank 3 at the end of season 1 to rank 4 at the start of season 2. So, we're going to go over the leveling up process to get them up to rank 4. We're going to work through it with Dan and Dan. We're going to get their characters up to rank 4, and then we're going to have some introductions so everybody can remember who these two fabulous players are playing. Then I'll dive into a quick recap of season 1, and then we'll get into the superhero murder episode. It's not really, probably not going to kill anybody today. But so you guys ready? You ready to jump in?
Yes.
Believe so.
All right. So to begin with, when you go from rank 3 to rank 4, you get 5 ability points to add to your character. So if you pull up your character sheet,
Yep.
You can put these ability points anywhere you want in your abilities, but there is a cap still at rank 4. No one ability can go over 7.
Well,
So while you guys are looking at that, I am going to plug something that came in the mail a few days ago for me, and that is the Marvel Multiverse X-Men expansion. If you love X-Men, this is an amazing resource. It goes through all of the different X teams, all of the history of the X-Men, the different X-Men worlds. I mean, your Days of Future Past, your Age of Apocalypse, your X-Men Noir, Old Man Logan, all of it. And in addition to that, it's got some new powers that include a power suite for healing, that's healing other people, a power suite for luck, power suite called Sixth Sense, and a power suite called Translation, which is, if you know anything about the X-Men and you know about Cypher, it's the ability to communicate in any language. So there's some interesting things. They tweaked some other powers, like they added some things into telekinesis and telepathy, and they got a few new rules. So it's definitely worth checking out. To be honest, I think it's worth the price just for the exhaustive list of interesting mutants that the book has. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The Cataclysm of Kang was obviously written before this came out, so there are going to be changes as I run it to include some of these new rules and to include some of these interesting characters, just because I want to see how they play in the game. So you may see some changes here in chapter 5, 6, and 7, but it's just to incorporate some of the new information that they've put out for the game. So are we looking good on our ability point increase?
yes,
Yes, sir.
I have increased my my logic is now up at 7. I've increased some ego, some vigilance, resilience. Yeah, pretty much spread it out across the board.
Nice, nice.
The Eldritch
So
Knight,
after
however,
we get
went a
our
different way.
if,
I took my melee up to 7, my resilience
nice,
up to 7, and my vigilance up to 6.
fantastic. So you know what you're good at, and you focus on what you're good at. I get it. I like it. Next, we're going to talk about powers. So when you go from rank 3 to rank 4, everybody gets 4 power points. Now, obviously, there are some limits. Like some powers have prerequisites you would have to meet. Some powers have rank minimums that you have to meet. So do we know what direction we want to go in with powers? And if there's any of the new powers that I mentioned that you want to talk about, just let me know. I'll pull them out. But if you've got a good idea of where you want to go with it, go for it. Any questions?
No, I've already picked all my powers.
I haven't.
That's good. You got so. In fairness,
Yeah.
I probably mapped out my character up to level 4 probably quite some time
Uh,
ago, so I knew how he was going to go. So I have finished the melee tree. So I've got now all of the attacks in melee. The last one being the level rank 4 one, which is Unstoppable Assault, which is really cool. I get to keep on attacking people and spending focus to do it. As long as I've got targets nearby that I can keep hitting. So that's quite cool. And I also took myself to Sturdy Free because my armor, as if
Nice.
viewers remember from last time, I have magical armor, which generally protects me from quite a lot of damage. So I've also got Sturdy Free now. I also still have a hidden power from last season that hasn't been revealed yet because an opportunity for it to be revealed has not come up yet. So
mm.
I can't wait for that.
So if I have 4 power, does that mean I can take a level 4 power?
It depends on the power you're looking at. So you've got 4 power points
Yeah,
to
4
spend.
power
So you can
points.
so some of the prerequisites are going to be based on embedded powers. Some of them
Yeah,
have
like
rank limits.
yeah.
So is there a particular power that you were looking at?
Um, well, I had to remind myself about what my own character had because I seem to have more powers than I remember using. Uh, so I've had to go back and take a look. I have instant replay, blink, teleport, because of course I'm looking at the time travel stuff for Professor
Mhm.
Kronos. Um, so I'm thinking either some sort of timey-wimey, either time portal requires time travel together, which I have that?
I think you do have time travel together, I
I do
believe.
have time travel together. Yeah. Okay. So either time portal, which would be handy, or
Absolutely. Yeah,
time
time
out.
portal,
Time out is that's the one where you freeze the
time.
person.
well, don't forget you've got 4 powers. You can pick 4.
Yes. Yes, you could take both of those and still have 2 power points. So timeout is a very cool power. The entire timeout tree is super busted. I had a character who had this, and it's crazy. But it's hey, if you want it, you can have it because I don't mind. Timeout. What happens is you spend 15 points of focus,
Yeah.
and you freeze time for everyone but yourself. And then
Yeah.
during that period, you can act normally while everyone seems to be frozen in place. And you can do it for a number of rounds equal to your rank. So for 4 rounds, you could do anything you wanted while everybody else was frozen.
Got it.
Which is
So
your full standard action, your reaction, your minor action. It's insane, really.
well, that kind of answers my question. And so if I've already got instant replay, so I'd like to
Mhm.
take time out,
Okay.
time out, bubble.
Okay.
What's time out tag?
Timeout tag is the character freezes time for one person or thing within reach. Everyone else can act normally. So, and if the character does not want to be frozen, you have to grab them first. But basically, let's say there was an enemy
Yeah.
and you wanted them frozen. You successfully do a melee grab on them. They freeze in time for 4 rounds, and then all of Operation Pendragon just has 4 rounds to beat them into unconsciousness before they can move.
So in which case I'll take time out, bubble, time out, tug, and time portal. Does that work out right?
Yep,
That
that's 4
works out
powers.
Yep.
perfect.
All
Yep,
right, brilliant. Easy
that is
peasy.
perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, and so for timeout bubble, the character creates a time bubble that affects themselves and any chosen allies within 4 spaces for you guys, which is like 20 feet. Within the bubble, characters and those allies can act normally. So if you were like getting charged at by an army, you get Operation Pendragon in close. You put a time bubble up, and then for 4 rounds, everyone else is frozen, and you guys can act normal. So yeah, the timeout mechanic is ultra broken, and I love it for that reason.
Okay.
So we
Cool.
so okay, so we've got powers for everybody. You both now each get one more trait. So it'll take you up to
Ooh.
4 total traits.
I'd already looked at this, and I've seen what I want to get. I've got to find it. Sorry, so go on, Dan. What did you take, Dan?
Enduring Constitution. I can go 48 hours of sleep, and I get an edge on resilience checks for overcoming fatigue or weariness.
Nice. Which makes
Basically
complete
hard as nails.
yeah, absolutely makes sense for the average.
Yeah, and the way I figure it is this more the magic of the armor that keeps me going rather than my general. Otherwise, Lance is actually mostly just a normal human being who's used to using a sword. It's the armor that makes him special.
I would like to take, please, fresh eyes. The character has their own way of doing things. This often makes them seem strange to those around them, but it means they can bring new perspectives to existing issues. They have an edge on logic checks when faced with something for the first time.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, so on your character sheets, make sure at the top of the character sheet, like right above your name, if I'm remembering right,
Yeah.
in the roll
Yeah,
20,
it's above your
make sure it says
picture.
4.
Yeah.
Because that should automatically reset your damage multiplier and any other embedded information that's based on your rank. Okay.
How do I add the powers to the character sheet that I've just said?
You can drag and drop them.
Yeah, so you go over to the thing that looks like books at the top of the toolbar on Roll20 and scroll down to powers. And then once that opens, you can just drag them onto your character sheet and it will fully populate. New feature for Roll20.
Oh, cool.
And since you guys did not take any of the new powers from the X-Men book, which makes life easier on me, you should be able to just pull all your powers over. Okay, so we've come to that magical point where we get to be reintroduced to 2 members of Operation Pendragon. We will start with the Eldritch Knight, and Dan, as Professor Kronos, is dragging his powers onto his sheet. So Dan, talk to us.
One of the Dans here. Hi, evening. I am playing the Eldritch Knight, who, if you have not aware from last season, he is actually the Lancelot of legend from the Arthurian legends. He wields a sword. It's kind of nice, but his main thing is he has a amulet that's burnt into his skin. It's basically part of him. And when he's in danger, it kind of does the whole Iron Man nanotech thing and turns into armor, though much more medieval looking. Within it is bound the evil sorceress Morgan Le Fay, who quite often talks to him and distracts him and is just a general pain in the bum. And this is his penance because he tried to steal the amulet, or not steal it, but borrow it to save the land. And it turned out that was actually keeping her locked in some sort of prison. So his penance now is he has lived for thousands of years now. I think at this point, he is immortal by all intents and purposes. And yeah, he's still around, and he has to keep her locked up in this thing. And if he ever dies, she escapes. So he has a burden to keep her locked up. But it also gives him lots of powers. Makes him hard, makes him quite tough, and he's very good with a sword. And that's kind of his thing. It's his jam.
Excellent. And not to be outdone, and we will not say other Dan, but Dan. Tell us about Professor Kronos.
Thank you. I am the other Dan of Dan and Dan, possibly the better Dan of the Dan and Dans, but that's
absolutely. It's not up for debate. It's absolutely true.
And tonight I will be playing Professor Kronos. Well, the Lord John Mulberry II, Marquis of Needham and Dolby, Earl of Croy, Baronet of Bricey, Lieutenant in His Majesty's Royal Navy, scientist, philanthropist, and hero, Professor Kronos. He is the first son of his namesake. His father died at the Battle of Jutland in World War One. Lord John followed in his family's naval tradition, but struggled to find a place in the Royal Navy. Probably because he didn't actually like boats that much or swimming. But the Navy, as always, found a use for everyone. And Lord John was assigned to research and development. So whilst working on radar, Lord John began to detect strange anomalies, and these anomalies he began studying, and he named them Chronos waves. And basically, though his experiments were crude, they showed these waves and formed ripples in space and time. And of course, as is the way with these Marvel characters, there was an accident. Um, Now he is gifted with strange powers of time manipulation.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm just answering a question in chat. And now that I have done that, because I am old and multitasking is hard for old people, so bear with me. Now that we've been reintroduced to Professor Kronos and the Eldritch Knight, let's talk a little bit about what happened in season one. For those of you who haven't either seen it or who need a quick recap, if you haven't watched season one, I strongly recommend you go back and check it out, because there was some hilarity. There was some good times. There were some bad jumps. There were some falls off of the Baxter building. There was a lot of entertaining things that happened. So you should definitely go back and check it out. But for everybody who's coming along for season two, let's talk about what happened. We started during World War II on Earth 56438 as members of Operation Pendragon were sent to capture a reported time traveler named Fitzroy, who had supposedly come back in time to give the Nazis a technological advantage so that they could win the war. The team fought their way through members of the Super Axis only to watch Fitzroy open a portal and try to escape. Our heroes plunged through the portal after him, only to be suspended in a temporal bubble by Iron Lad and the Wasp. They were told that they were uniquely positioned to save the multiverse, as they themselves had no variants within the multiverse, and that they were going to be sent to a place, a location, and a time in which their skills could help tip the balance in favor of order. The time bubble collapsed. Our heroes were shunted off. They came out of a portal. They were no longer on their Earth. They were now on Earth 616. They were no longer in the 1940s. They were in the current times. And they were no longer alone. They were in the middle of a fight over this portal. They used their skills to shut the portal down and to capture the villains. And as the dust settled, they were introduced to Nick Fury Jr., who told them that he too had been briefed by Iron Lad as to the team's potential destiny. Operation Pendragon was then loaned the use of 4 Yancey Street as a base of operations, and they were brought up to speed on current events using some subliminal technology. That is, all except for the Eldritch Knight, who felt that he already had enough people talking to him in his head. So he was just going to learn the stuff the good old-fashioned way. The team was then made a subsidiary of the Fantastic Four Corporation by the FF's attorney, Jennifer Walters, and given access to 4 Yancey Street and the Baxter Building and other resources to use while they were here. The team was then called to help deal with unprecedented levels of terrorist attacks within Hell's Kitchen. All these attacks focused on the police, the fire departments, and other municipal services. Furthermore, the attacks were extremely uncharacteristic of the supervillains who were involved, who were typically petty criminals and not terrorists. However, as the attacks grew in ferocity, DCA, the Damage Control Agency, was brought in to declare martial law at Hell's Kitchen to ensure that no further terrorist activities would be undertaken. That's when the switch happened. And we realized that DCA agents were actually Hydra agents from Earth 56438, who had been sleeper agents and sent here in 1s and 2s to Earth 616 to prepare for the invasion. The team tried to fight their way through to get to the convention center. However, the portal, the great permanent portal between Earth 56438 and Earth 616 opened, and the invasion began. Armies of Hydra agents and super-powered beings from this alternate Earth started flooding out of the gates. The team was forced to fall back. Everyone regrouped as New York City was slowly captured by these Hydra forces. Nick Fury brought the heroes who were still in the city together, working with Stark Enterprises and others to try to find a way to circumvent the technology that these world's Hydra agents was bringing. Eventually, they realized they had to take out the monuments surrounding the city and that they were going to have to take down the portal itself within the convention center. Operation Pendragon, working with other heroes throughout New York City, mounted a counterattack. And through grit and determination, they were able to force their way into the convention center, take control of the portal, and shut it down. The dust is settled now, and it's time to take the fight to Hydra and Earth 56438. So, welcome back to Operation Pendragon, the Cataclysm of Kang, Chapter 5, National Emergency. Issue 8 of Operation Pendragon. We open it up and we see a splash page. We see we're back on 4 Yancey Street. Construction is going on up and down the street. You can hear the sounds of rebuilding, but you can also hear the sounds of children playing again, where just a couple of weeks ago, there was silence as Hydra held the neighborhood in an iron grasp. Within 4 Yancey Street at the moment, we see Nick Fury Jr. standing next to a tall, slender man, nondescript features with short brown hair, wearing a brown trench coat as the Eldritch Knight and Professor Kronos walk in. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I think we've got a need of your services.
Again?
Well, you've proved yourself uniquely capable of taking the fight to the enemies, and, well, there are some interesting characteristics that you bring to the table that maybe no one else can, and definitely some, yes, Professor Kronos.
Of course, old boy. Why wouldn't you need our help? I mean, come on. Has anyone offered you a cup of tea?
Are you speaking to the brown-haired man or Nick
Both
Fury
of them.
Jr.?
Both of them.
So the man with the brown hair looks over you. He's like, Nick here, he didn't offer me anything. He just, you know how Nick can be. He was just like, report, and here I am.
And who are you, old boy?
Oh, my name's Jamie Maddox. Some people call me the multiple man. And at that point, you see coming out of the kitchen an exact duplicate of this individual, but he's carrying a tea set with him. Oh, hello, fellas, I knew you were coming, so I figured I would put together some tea for you. Now, listen, I'm...
one second.
But
You've made the tea properly, right?
Sorry, yes. Absolutely not. I mean, I made it like an American makes it. I don't know what to tell you. I tried to follow the completely esoteric instructions that were left by one of you, I'm assuming, but yeah, it made absolutely no sense to me.
You didn't burn the tea leaves, did you? The milk first.
They're in the bag. I don't know if they were burned or not, and the milk is on the tray. I didn't touch the milk. I'm not quite grasping the problem here, but
well, I went to one of those cafe things you have here in New York, and they were microwaving their tea. It was absolutely outrageous. Didn't even boil the water properly.
Well, yeah, I mean, who's got the time to boil water?
Every Brit in England.
There's always time to boil water, old boy.
Like I said, the instructions were esoteric. So, yeah, I mean, and then you see this guy put this tray down, and then you see him fold into the body of the other Jamie Maddox, and now there's just one of them there. The guy shakes a little bit. He's like I said, tea's not my thing, but we did our best for you.
That was weird. What
Well,
was? I mean,
Fascinating.
I pointed at Professor Crozer. He wibbles through the air and disappears in time, but that was weird.
well, yeah, I've heard a little bit about you guys. I got to say, I've been very impressed. But everybody's got their own little talents, their own little tricks, so to speak. But and
Everyone
then
has a
Nick
gimmick.
interrupts. Nick is like, "Listen, all of you could sit down and have tea later, but we've got some things to discuss now. Are you willing to help me out with this?"
Well, we're not doing anything else right now.
Excellent. All right, so listen. We all know that your home Earth, 56438, whatever the hell designation Stark and Richards want to give it, tried to conquer our Earth. We also know that for an inexplicable reason, they decided to try to do it in New York City, where per capita is the largest population of superheroes there is. So they got their fourth points of contact handed to them and they got shuttled back. Now, we're concerned that they may decide to try and open a portal, I don't know, say in Iceland or some other remote location where they can field their entire force and then attack. So we need to figure out how to get to your Earth and destroy this portal technology and all evidence or information related to it so that this can't happen again. Capiche?
I mean, yes, I understand, but that sounds like a rather momentous task, chap.
Yes. And that's why I'm talking to you, Operation Pendragon, for a couple of reasons that we're going to get to.
Indeed.
First, if we can get you back to Earth 56438, you're going to be able to blend in to a certain extent. You remember how we were able to track the people from your planet because they dimensionally vibrated at a different frequency than the people from Earth 616?
Well,
Well,
yes.
when you go back to your own Earth, not going to be able to track you that way. So if they've got that technology, you should be able to blend in. So we think you're better suited to this mission than anybody else that we have at the moment who's available. Of course, we do have some problems. Namely, we don't know how to open the portal to get you back to Earth 56438.
Have we have some sort of established facility where you have been experimenting in such endeavors, or are you starting from scratch?
No, ever since we captured the portal, Stark Industries and others, Dr. Richards, they've been trying to figure it out. The problem is the portal machine itself has an embedded artificial intelligence that runs a completely randomizing 500 character cipher that changes every millisecond as a lockout feature for the portal. And we have been trying to crack it ever since. But we can't even get basically into the program because it's one, gene locked, and it's also locked to the dimensional frequency of people from Earth 56438.
So with our dimensional frequency, you feel that we might be able to access part of this machine, but what about the actual code?
Well, that's actually why I asked the two of you here and not the rest of your compatriots. You see, we know that there are some Hydra agents that did not get out before the portal closed. We know some of the superpower people from Earth 56438 did not get out. Based on what we can tell, looking back through the visual records of some of the fights, it appears that all of the superpowered agents that they sent over all had some sort of black bracelet on their wrists. We think that this is essentially the key to that lock and that it will sync up with the AI when it's in proximity as long as the person wearing it is gene locked and dimensionally locked to the same thing, and then will lock in on Earth 56438 and open the portal. So what I need the two of, go right ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say that actually makes sense, and I'm not usually making sense of this kind of stuff. But we had to use that to get through the barriers, I believe, last time. Around
exactly the same kind of technology. So what I need you to do is I need you to find one of these missing superpower people from your original Earth, capture them, bring them back here, so we can convince them to open the portal.
Oh, okay. We got any starting positions in terms of looking? I'm not a smart chap like my friend here. I do look the old-fashioned way, probably needed in a haystack in a city of this size.
And that's when Jamie Maddox again interrupts. Well, now here, that's kind of why I'm here, fellas. You see, Nick has had me out combing New York City looking for these anomalies, trying to find something that just doesn't quite fit. I had like 200 of myself out there looking, and I've been reporting back to Nick, with all of us have been reporting back to Nick with anything we see. And I found a few things, and he starts to ramble, and then Nick stops him again. All right, Jamie. So what Mr. Maddox found, or at least what he reported on, one of them, is that he was in an underground cage fight arena, and he saw Fred Dukes, aka the Blob, and Spider Woman in a tag team match against a couple of other mooks. Now, the reason that's interesting to me is because I know Spider Woman is not in New York City. I know she's on the other side of the planet doing a different job for me right now. So I'm thinking that Spider Woman is from Earth 56438. Yeah, that's what I told Nick. And she was there, and she was looking to make money, and she was looking to recruit. So I don't know, maybe something that you guys could use.
Indubitably.
Yes. I can pose and join in the fights, because that's my skill set.
Will you be using Queensbury rules?
Queensbury rules. So I was around before Queensbury rules existed.
Right. So yeah, I was able to look into this club, says Nick Fury Jr. It's owned by Raven Darkholm and Irene Adler. The first couple floors of the clubs are completely legitimate dance club and a little restaurant above that. But if you can get access to the underground area, it used to be a car park, but now they've converted it into this giant cage fighting arena. If you can get access down there by either posing as a fighter or a fight promoter or even sneak in, and if you can find Spider Woman, or barring that, find the Blob, and see if we can run down this Spider Woman and get her to come in, either voluntarily or take her in custody, we might be able to get you guys back to Earth 56438 and put this behind us.
Well, when you say it like that, it makes it sound easy.
I have no doubt that you guys will be able to pull this off without any problem whatsoever.
You've read our mission reports.
Jamie looks over. He's like, I don't know, boss. I mean, we'll see. Good luck, guys. And he walks out without saying another word to Nick Fury or anything. Nick just kind of shakes his head. He's like, listen, I think you can manage it. Be discreet as possible. This is a legitimate business, and Darkholm and Adler have deep pockets and a lot of resources. So I would prefer not for this to turn litigious if you can avoid it. The last thing we need is a bunch of Brotherhood of Mutant people coming after us because we broke up one of their clubs.
Brotherhood of Mutants. That's a thing.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you guys aren't from here. Raven Darkholm is Mystique, and Irene Adler is her wife, Destiny, and they're leaders of one of the current incarnation of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Used to be considered a terrorist organization. Now it's just sort of, I don't know, evil adjacent, if you want. They haven't broken any laws recently, but like I said,
like a few other organizations I know.
yeah, I mean, the only people worse would be the Hellfire Club to deal with. Let's just try to keep it contained as much as possible.
Right. Guess we put on our best suits, Kronos.
Indeed.
Do you have any questions or any further assistance from me?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, we're probably going to make it up on the fly, aren't we, oh boy?
Indubitably. Why wouldn't we? We're amazing.
That's how we roll, as they like to say in the 20th century, I believe we're in now.
Well, that's how the Americans like to say it.
Well, yes. The British don't roll anywhere.
Bloody Yanks. These gosh darn colonials. Don't understand them.
They've got nothing but problems. Oh crap, I'm a bloody Yank too. Son of a. All right. Listen. If you need anything, you know how to contact me. I'm on the comms. Once you go inside the club, you may not have comm access when you get down to the club. I expect that they've got baffles in place and cutouts to prevent any kind of cell coverage or any kind of videotaping. So once you get down there, you're probably on your own.
That's not a problem.
And he gives you the location of this club. He goes, the club itself doesn't even have a name. If you don't know it's there, you're not supposed to know it's there. So the very fact that you're going to know it's there, all you have to do is go up to the door and say Adler, and they will let you into the club. Getting downstairs, that's your problem.
I'm sure we'll work that out when we get there.
Yes, excellent. Well, thank you very, very much for your time, Mr. Fury.
Spot a tea before we go?
Longer. Yes, let's. Earl Grey?
Oh, absolutely, good sir.
Excellent.
And we have a tea before leaving.
Nick Fury just shakes his head and walks out. It's just the two of you there. You guys do know that, you know that Kingdom Quake, not Kingdom Come. See, I got it right this time. Kingdom Quake and Lodestar are both actually out helping with the cleanup still. So she's using her telekinesis. He's using his brute strength to help clean up after after everything that happened. You haven't heard from Sherwood, actually. Immediately after you shut the portal down, Sherwood just sort of faded out and disappeared.
He does that sometimes.
Yeah, Lance, you know that as a spiritual embodiment of Great Britain, he occasionally just fades out until he's needed again. But you guys haven't seen him for the last couple of weeks.
I'm sure
once you're done with your, I have no doubt. When the need is great, Sherwood will return. So what would you guys like to do?
I'm going to put on our expensive suits and probably hop in the car.
Yes, I assume we'll kind of be going in the evening. We'll be busy.
That's
you wait a couple hours, maybe have yourself a little bit of dinner.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
And the location for this club is on the very edges of an area of Manhattan called the Hudson Yards. It's a gleaming new neighborhood on the west side of Manhattan. You know, it's like a futuristic metropolis amid the gritty industrial backdrop of some of the other parts of New York City. It's got towering skyscrapers. It's got sleek modern buildings, and a stark contrast to the low-rise brownstones and tenements of the nearby neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. You would just say that the entire neighborhood is an architectural marvel with cutting-edge designs and state-of-the-art technology at every turn. Inside these buildings are some of the most exclusive living accommodations in the city, catering to the wealthy and discerning. From spacious penthouses to modern apartments with sweeping views of the city, Hudson Yards offers a lifestyle that's second to none. So
Might
you're
be why
not
we aren't living here.
surprised. Well, once you guys become multimillionaires, I mean, which may be soon, you guys are
I am
heroes
a millionaire.
of New York City.
Only on
That is a good point.
Earth.
That is a good point. You probably actually could afford a place here in Hudson Yards, but seeing this area, this neighborhood, you obviously come to realize why this club is here. And after you did a little digging, you're aware now of just how much power and money and influence Irene Adler, who's a precog, has, because she has, been seeing the future for hundreds of years and has well positioned herself for it.
Oh, that means she's probably going to see us coming, oh chap.
Well, to be honest with you, I think maybe we just go and ask her.
Yes. Yeah, that
Just be
that might
polite
work.
about it. I mean, I know they wanted us to be undercover, but frankly, they probably know who we are already. We've been
Uh,
on that television box thing, and
yes. In colour, no less.
yes, exactly. So I think rather we just go and say hello, tell her why we're here, and ask for their assistance.
Act like gentlemen. I like that.
Yes, brilliant.
That seems like a
So
sound plan.
I love it.
Let's
I love it.
win with politeness.
At worst case
So
scenario, you could just take us back in time. We could do it again.
Yes.
So we're we're a little after dinner time. It's maybe 9 o'clock at night. This area of the city is still lit up. I mean, it's almost like daylight. The area is so lit up. You still see pedestrians walking up and down the street without any concern for their safety. And you see this nondescript door on this nondescript building. And standing in front of it, you see a man, a very large man, packed into a suit, a huge suit that's still slightly too tight for him. As you approach, either one of you can give me a difficulty for 12 vigilance test. Well, okay. Both of you did very well. 19 and a 17. So as you approach, you recognize this individual. He's got a small lock of green hair on an otherwise bald head. And he's got kind of round, thick glasses. And this is Strong Guy, who has been a superhero, anti-hero, private detective for a long time. His first name is Guido, and he appears to be the bartender. I mean, the doorman.
I will doff my hat, my bowler hat, and say, good evening, old boy. Give him the password. May we enter
Gentlemen,
your premises?
with that password, you absolutely can enter the premises. And
Jolly
don't
good.
think I don't recognize you and the work you did here in New York City. You tell the bartender that Guido said first round's on him.
Ah,
And
thank you.
he
Most
opens the
kind.
door and slightly bows at you.
Ah,
I
see,
give him a
As you walk
hearty
in,
pat on the
it's-
shoulder.
secrecy wasn't going to get us anywhere.
Well, you could have gone, like, if you chose to
Yeah,
disguise
we could have
yourself or
done
try to go in
stealth.
the back. I mean, you could have done other things. But yes, going
Yeah,
straight in.
we're not subtle.
Yeah, you are. There was literally a ticker tape parade for you guys down the streets of New York City. Yeah, you're well known. You have been on all the talk shows. I mean, Kimmel has had you both on a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. So,
I can just imagine the interview now on the Jimmy Kimmel show, just talking about different types of tea.
Oh no, I feel like we've lost Aaron. He's
Oh no,
frozen.
is he frozen?
He's frozen.
Oh, he
All
missed my
right.
second tea joke. Does this mean we're going to have to pad in front of everyone while we wait for him to come back?
Yeah. Welcome to the Double Dan Talk Show.
I don't think we could call it the double D. We might get in trouble.
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
What
think
do we
we've
do?
I don't know. We've lost Aaron. Everybody, I apologize.
Oh, yeah, he's probably gone now. Quick, someone message Pete.
Yeah.
In the meantime, here's some interlude music. Do 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 do.
I, for one, was enjoying being back on.
Yes, I for one was enjoying being back on as well, and I can't help but feel that our first time back as the Wednesday crew was going to have some technical difficulty, and here we are.
Yes. So apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you joining us tonight. Um, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, and neither me or the other Dan have any ability to stop this. So you're just stuck with us while it gets worked out.
Yeah. Oh dear. So, what games have you been playing recently, Dad?
Oh, he's
Hey
back.
guys.
Oh, there he is.
I imagine our faces on the screen are probably all over the shop right now in terms of the setup. However, we have flagged Pete, so hopefully the great Garblag will come and fix that for us.
Oh,
Keep our fingers crossed. But we're gonna press on because it's 100 degrees here and my internet is unstable. So we're gonna get through this.
literally on fire.
Literally on fire. Yes, it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit for all of you in Great Britain who are watching, or anybody who's using Celsius. It's just silly hot. I don't know, 30, mid 30s or something. Okay, so you walk into the bar, and it's beautifully appointed. This is not a cheap neighborhood bar. There is glossy hardwoods, brass accents. There's a large open dance floor. The music, though, is subtle, so that people can still talk. It's actually playing some. We're talking oldies, 50s Sinatra in the background. There are people dancing. The booths themselves are set up with privacy screens. And this isn't like a physical screen. This is a technological screen. So it's a white noise generator. So you can see that this club is set up for discretion. And then all along one wall is a bar. And you've got basically every alcohol you can imagine is behind it. And there are 3 bartenders working the bar, and they all look identical. They've got long blonde hair, they're young women, and they're all wearing sort of white, different white outfits, but they're all in white. You also see a staircase going up in the back of the club, and then on the opposite side of the back club, you see a staircase going down, and it's blocked off, and you see another bouncer standing there.
Right. Well, I think the first port of call is to head to the bar, old chap.
Yes, I could do with a gin and tonic.
Oh, well, Greedo said the first one was on him, right?
Excellent. Let's go and ask.
I would be truly British if I didn't go and use a voucher for something.
So you approach the bar, and one of these women approaches you. And she just kind of cocks her head and gives you an odd look. And she's like, yes, Guido bought your first round. And you felt a little feathery touch in your mind as someone just sort of glanced across your surface thoughts. What can I get you, gentlemen?
Oh, that was tingly.
Gin and tonic for me, please.
I'll have.
And you
one
see
of the
that
same.
you see the other young lady at the other end of the bar has already started to pour your gin and tonics before you said that. And then she comes down and hands them to you. Apparently these are on the house. Enjoy.
Jolly good.
I'm interested. Are you like sisters?
We are triplets of a sort. We've been around for a while. It's hard to describe what we are.
Well, we've got nothing but time. Isn't that right?
Literally for me.
Quite. And I've been around for over 1,000 years at this point in time, so.
Well, that's fascinating. Would you mind if perhaps we did a deep probe on your psyche so we can relive and ingest some of those magnificent memories for 1,000 years? What an intoxicating brew that must be.
I would perhaps hold fire on that. We're not from this dimension, and you don't know what sort of adverse effect that might have.
Also, I share my mind with a dark sorceress. Probably not healthy for you to get involved in that.
Dark sorceress, and you're not from this earth? Oh, you must let us. What a unique vintage you must be. And then you see an older woman start to walk up right as you hear that out of the corner of your eye. She's got kind of silver white hair,
That's the person we need
She's
to talk
very
to.
elegantly dressed, and she says, "These are the Stepford cuckoos. Do not allow them any deep penetration into your mind. Girls, you're here on a probationary. Emma said that you could control yourselves. Please refrain from attempting to telepathically plunder the minds of our guests. Now, gentlemen, you have questions of me. I've been waiting for you to come for years.
I assume Adler.
Indeed. Irene, please. To my friends. And that's what I hope we're going to be as friends.
Have we met before?
Oh, absolutely. But not yet for you.
Ah, excellent.
Oh, it's
Sounds-
like having a conversation with you, Kronos, about time travel.
I get the feeling this is perhaps my future, her past scenario. Am I correct?
Well, I've seen this play out 1,000 different ways, so I feel like I know you both. It's just that this particular possibility wasn't necessarily the one I anticipated. Most of the possibilities, most of the probabilities that I have seen, you actually try to sneak in to the fight club downstairs, and a tussle arises, and then I have to come down and take a look.
No, no,
I
no.
really appreciate it. This one is much more civilized.
So uncouth.
Yes. If we'd brought some of our compatriots with us, it may have ended up that way. But we are gentlemen and would prefer it to stay, as you say, civilized, if possible.
We are
Well, then,
also officers of His Majesty's armed forces and would present ourselves as such.
well, I greatly appreciate that. Why don't we make our way over to one of the booths so we can have a bit of privacy?
Ah, thank you kindly.
Absolutely.
And she takes you over to a booth and she sits down and she has a drink brought over for herself. Now, gentlemen, although I have a pretty good idea of what you want, there are many different branching possibilities from this point. So why don't I let you tell me what it is that you need?
We need Spider Lady, Spider Woman, Spider Person. The Spider Person you got in the Fight Club downstairs.
Oh, Spider Woman, yes. She does come by to participate in fights every once in a while. She typically will partner up with Fred Dukes, who is our house fighter, and they'll do tag team matches, though she has not been in for the last couple of days.
Interesting. I suspect you already know this, but she is not who she appears to be. She is not this Spider Woman of your world. And I think it is bad for everyone, including yourself and your establishment, that she is using this place as a recruitment center for her former organization. So we would very much like to take her into custody. Also to save the planet and all that sort of stuff.
That is a very interesting proposition and wholly inaccurate in so many ways, but that's not really for me to point out. I really can't. There's so many potential problems with anything I say here, so I'm going to keep it to myself. I will simply say this. You have full access to the club. You have full access to the cage fighting arena downstairs. You may present yourself in any way you see fit, and you can take any actions that you feel are warranted within the premises. However, as I've seen in about 12% of probabilities, you do significant damage. If that's the case, you or Nick Fury must pay for the renovations. Other than that,
That's
you are
fine.
free to roam, gentlemen. You will not be accosted or bothered by any of my staff while you are here. I think that is best. I believe that will allow for the potentially best outcome. Yes. So I will say nothing more, and she just stands up and walks out of the booth.
What a rather enigmatic lady.
I'm not going to lie, Kronos. It was like having a conversation with you.
Is that what I'm like?
Yes, when you talk about the whole wibbly going backwards and forwards thing and what you can tell us and can't tell us and all the other malarkey, That was exactly what it was like.
What a fascinating conversationalist I am. You must have thoroughly interesting conversations with me.
I'm going to go and let those people probe my brain now. I'm only joking, oh boy. It's fine. Right. Well, if Spider Woman's not here right now, I suppose we just drink alcohol downstairs until she does arrive.
Let's have a conversation with her tag team partner, to see if he knows anything else.
Yes. What did the Nick call him? The Blob. I wonder why
Yes,
they call him the Blob.
I assume we were about to find out, but with a name such as that, perhaps we should refrain from using it and go with
That
his.
seems sensible. It seems almost insulting to call him
It
out.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, well, let's head downstairs, shall we?
Okay.
So you guys head down. You head into the fight arena, and you can see it was a large underground car park, and there are several bars down here. There are tables, there are bleachers, and then closer there are very nice booths and seats all around this large. It's about twice the size of a standard boxing ring, and it's a cage, but it's an energy cage because obviously some people in here would be able to be thrown through normal bars or wiring. Um, and you see there is a fight promoter up there, and he's looking at the schedule, and you just hear him say, "Yeah, get Dukes." What would you like to do?
I guess we'll just wait for him to come out. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if he said that about because he's seen us walk in the room, or whether he's just said that because he's on looking at the roster.
Give me a difficulty 12 vigilance check. All right, 23. That's pretty damn good. And a 16. So, the Eldritch Knight, you're looking around. This guy his back is to you. Doesn't even seem to be paying attention to you at all. However, you notice that several people who are here have noticed and recognized the two of you. And you see a group, looks like Asian business people, perhaps, making their way over towards you through the crowd. You see a couple of young starlets, and a news reporter from one of the local news channels. They have noticed you and they're start making their way over towards you. However, with a 23, Professor Kronos, not only do you see all of this, you also see in the back of the room these wide doors open, and this man come out. He's at least 7 feet tall and has to weigh somewhere in the vicinity of 700 pounds. His body is enormous. And he looks like a giant sumo wrestler with basically no neck. His head just comes down into these massive shoulders and massive arms. He's got very short, cropped brown hair. Uh, um, and he's chatting down with, looks like probably his manager, who is maybe half his size. He's got an affable smile on his face as he's making his way towards the cage. But you don't see.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, you don't see any other competitor coming towards the cage.
Okay. I will point him out to my colleague.
Oh, good gracious. He is rather large.
Now, you both are about to get mobbed by a lot of people. How do you want to deal with this situation?
I mean,
could I use timeout bubble?
You absolutely
to freeze the mob, bubble, so that we can then walk around them and go straight to the blob.
I love it. I love it. So first use of a power in season 2, and we're going with a new one, timeout bubble. So let's refresh ourselves on timeout bubble. It costs 15 focus, so deduct 15 focus, and it will last for 4 rounds. So what does it look like? What does this power look like when you manifest it for the first time?
So the 1970s wiggly lie and that same vibe is present within this kind of bubble of energy that seems to stretch out and surround myself and our sword master companion. So we can then go straight to the blob because
I
they'll be
like
all
it. So this
frozen in
bubble
theory.
expands out. Yeah, it expands out. The Eldritch Knight, as soon as this bubble passes over you and you're looking out, both of you with your high vigilance scores, in that moment that that bubble encapsulates you, everything around you completely freezes. It's an absolutely uncanny and unnatural look. You see people drinking and the liquid is suspended coming towards their mouth. You see sweat coming off a person's face, and it's just the particles are just frozen in air as everything is still. There are no sounds. There is no physical sensation around you because even the air molecules themselves, relative to the two of you, are completely stopped as you move through the fabric of time in that singular moment.
Yes, Morgan, it is very interesting. This is the first time I've seen this. Isn't it the first time you've done this? Or at least with me.
No, it's new. What do you think?
I mean, I like it. It's interesting.
Can you
Uh,
imagine the damage we could do um, if our enemies are like this, and then you have free reign to do whatever it is you need to do?
well, yes, that is an application for it. Gee, this is beyond my understanding. I'm not going to lie. Even Morgan finds this very interesting.
Fascinating.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, don't worry. I'm used to it. As in you not understanding what's going on, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I was born in the year 768.
Yes, you've read. It's been rather complicated for you, hasn't it, old boy?
Yes, just a bit. But that's really not a problem.
Anyway, let's circumvent this mob, um, and make our way over to the blob.
Not calling him
I
a
want
blob, though.
both of you to give me a difficulty 16 agility check.
Oh dear.
This is not non-combat,
This
non-combat
is
agility.
not good for me.
No. Nope. I got a marble, though.
Okay, so you failed with the marvel, and then Professor Kronos just fails flat out. So as you're making your way through, this is the first time you've ever done this, and this is a crowded space. You guys are bumping into people, and I'm going to say that Professor Kronos, you don't really recognize how this reaction is going to affect these people because you've knocked them off kilter in that moment. So when they come back, they are going to be in a position they weren't prepared for. I will say that, however, the Eldritch Knight, because you're much more aware of your body, because of your marvel, you run into somebody, a young woman, and you recognize in a moment that the way you hit her, because of all your combat training, that when she snaps back into time, she is going to go sprawling. And based on her current position, she may actually hurt herself badly because there's a table right next to her, and it looks like her head is going to slam into it. What would you like to do to
Oh,
deal with
okay.
this situation?
I'm going to catch her. If I step out of the bubble, I freeze as well, right? So
That is correct.
So what I'm going to do is the Eldritch Knight is the arm goes up. I go, I've got this one. You carry on. I'll catch up with you. And then I'm going to throw myself out sideways. So when I go outside the bubble, I'm going to be behind her so that she's going to fall onto me. I'm going to catch her.
Oh, how
I like that.
chivalrous.
I like that.
So when time restarts, I'll be the one that slams into the table and I'll catch her.
So what I'm going to do is, because that is incredibly heroic, I'm going to give you an extra point of karma. So you have 5 points of karma at the moment. And don't forget, guys, you can spend karma for all sorts of activities. It's on that cheat sheet I shared with everybody. And it is a resource to use. You can gain an edge with an action check. You give an enemy trouble. You can heal, etc. So it's something to keep in the back of your mind. It's not necessary here unless you do badly. But what I need from you then, because this is fairly easy under the circumstances for you, is just a difficulty 10 melee check to essentially grab her and maneuver her so she is not going to hit the table. Nice.
I tried to fail it.
You did your best, but I mean, still, you're just too good. So, Professor Kronos, you see the Eldritch Knight jump out of the bubble, and you can tell by his body positioning, as soon as things snap back into time, he will have managed to catch this woman and prevent her.
I will give myself a bemused smile, and maybe sort of a slight wry shake of my head and a passing comment about always, rescuing the damsels in distress, but in a nice way. And then I will close the bubble down.
Mm-hmm. So you get up to Fred Dukes. The bubble closes down. You see like 6 people in your wake go sprawling, and then you hear this clamoring noise as the Eldritch Knight slams into a table, cradling this young woman in his arms.
I'm gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah, well, probably. And you see this enormous man look down at you.
Hello.
I saw you on TV.
Yes. I need your help, good sir. Could we have a quick conversation before you go into the ring over there?
Time's money, but all right, I got a few minutes for a hero of New York City. Is your pal going to get up and join us?
Yes, indubitably, and I'll summon him over.
You can see like the Eldritch Knight's chatting to the young lady.
I bet he is.
I've got to go. Comes running over. Sorry about that. Chivalry.
Are you done?
Oh, I'm a knight.
Chivalry is not dead. No.
Absolutely. Oh, hello, sir. He looks up at the very large man in front of him.
If you'll excuse us, old boy. Yes, the Spider Woman that you have been tag teaming with. We're looking for her. She is not who she says she is. She is from a different dimension, and she is one of those that invaded New York not too long ago. And we would very much like to take her into custody for some questioning. Any help you could give us would be greatly appreciated. May I make an ego roll or something?
I'm gonna have him respond, and then we'll see how.
Is he gonna punch me in the face?
No, not yet. He goes, "Hey, she's a good partner, and I ain't no snitch. So I don't think we got anything to talk about." Now you can make another argument to him, and then based on that argument that you make to him, we'll have a roll and see what happens.
How about a honor duel? To make up to get the information. Perhaps you could step into the ring with my colleague here, and you could duke it out, perhaps, and we could do it that way. Therefore, you wouldn't be giving up the information willingly, and you would be helping this establishment as well, because she has been recruiting, others to her organization. And frankly, we don't want to see a repeat of the disaster that has just come before us only a little time ago. Would that be perhaps more within your gateway?
He looks interested. So go ahead and give me. I think this is more of a logic. You're appealing to some logic.
Excellent. Here. Okay.
So I think this is a logic test. We're going to call it, it's not opposed because it's just you making a good argument. We'll call it a difficulty 14, standard difficulty for rank 4 characters, logic test.
Can I give myself an edge with,
You can spend a point of karma to give yourself an edge if you'd like, or if you've got something else, I mean.
No, you're right. Hold on, I'll just roll. I'll see what I got.
19.
19.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
So he's like, that sounds like an interesting proposition.
Yeah, I thought so.
How about this? Listen, I'm a little short on cash this month.
Of course.
Now, everybody here knows who your pal is and everything that he did. He's a big goddamn hero in this city.
Hmm.
So how about this, Eldridge Knight? You get in the ring with me. We go a few rounds, we make it look good, and then you take a dive. I collect a big payout for that, and then I give you all the information you want
That's
on
a
Spider-Woman.
wonderful idea, old boy. I'm sure my esteemed colleague will do that for the greater goods. Big picture and all that. I'm sure it will be fine.
I have a reputation to uphold.
Of course, of course. A reputation that will not be tarnished, as you are trying to save the world.
I'll tell you what, big man. You can knock me down on the floor. I will stay down on the floor.
All right. I like it. We got to make it look good, though. So we'll go a few rounds, tussle it up. And I put you down on the floor. You stay down. I get a big payday. You get Spider Woman.
I mean, can't you get the big payday if you fall down on the ground? I mean, I just asking for convenience.
No, the odds are going to be astronomically against me. It's going to be like 10-1 in your favor. Everybody's seen you fight on the newsreels.
Oh, dear God. And Lance shoots Kratos a look of like, you're an ass.
As my manager's going to go place a bet for me to win, and I'll meet you in the cage.
Oh dear. Okay. Well. Just,
You enjoy, old boy. Have look at it as a bit of exercise.
I am forcibly being made to lose, Kronos. It doesn't sit well with me.
You're not losing. You're putting consideration in to the bigger picture, old boy. Sometimes you have to lose to win.
Oh dear. Right, well, okay, here we go. Starts rolling his shoulders and climbs into the cage.
Go ahead and roll initiative. So we're going to do a little, this isn't going to be like super serious combat, and any damage you take is going to be healed right after it's non-lethal. So,
I have healing factor anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Figured as much.
And let me just edge that. Boop, there we go.
Nice. All right. Come on. Oh, it did roll. 15 with a marvel. Ooh, 15 with a marvel. Why didn't add it, though? Okay, so you would normally go first, but since he got a marvel on his dice, he gets to go in a basically a round all to his own. So as soon as you step in and armor up, and you've got your sword, you see this giant ham fist come clubbing in at you. I'm
taking no enjoyment out of this.
Don't lie.
I might go and place a bet.
So this is just going to be a straight up melee attack. And what is your melee defense?
17.
So he comes in with this big ham fist, and right as you're stepping into the cage, he hits you in the side of the head for 36 damage.
Or
what is your sturdy rating?
First off, it's sturdy rating 3. So, however,
okay.
Yeah, wait for it.
Nice.
As he does, the whole room erupts with a small spark of light, and as he hits what is essentially a barrier in front of him. Now,
This is the
Cronus,
power that we
this
were
is the
waiting
power.
for. Oh,
Uh,
fantastic!
Cronus, you from the outside, almost look and see the Eldred Knights almost looks puzzled by the fact that the shield has appeared. And then we flicker on to the next page of the comic, and standing next to the knight, nobody else can see her, but there's Morgan Le Fay drawing almost like a Doctor Strange kind of shield up.
Ah, cool.
And the hit hits and does no damage to the Eldritch Knight.
Nice. So we see that shield flare up and then break, and then you see Fred Dukes just blowing smoke off his knuckles. Oh, you're a tricky one, all right.
Was that new, old boy?
You could say that. I've not seen that one before.
And that takes us to the top of what is actually round one in the Eldritch Knight.
I mean, I'm not sure the Eldritch Knight would have his sword out because that's quite deadly.
Mm-hmm. So you could have with the flat of the blade if you wanted. I'm just saying, if you want to use your short sword abilities, you could do that, or you could
no. He's just going to do it the old-fashioned, Queensberry rules. Dukes
like
are up. Yeah, so
I like it.
I'm just going to try and lump him, to be honest. So...
All right, what?
Oh!
Oh my God!
What happened?
He got the ultimate fantastic.
Fantastic. So he just comes in with his uppercut with his mailed glove. So it would be that times 4 plus 7.
Times three because he's actually got damage reduction 1.
Yeah.
So that's 18 times 3. 36, 46, 54 points of damage. So you...
And then what I'm going to do...
Can I... Sorry, Dan, after you do a thing, I want to do a thing, if I may.
You may indeed. So I am then going to do... I am going to do Exploit for 5 focus, which basically, if I've done a fantastic success, I can then do another melee attack against their resilience defense.
Nice.
And that will...
Oh my God. Okay. So
and he doesn't get any sturdy against
triple sixes.
Yeah.
Triple sixes. It's not an ultimate fantastic success because it's not the Marvel die, but it's still 18 times 2, 36 points of damage. It goes right through.
Wouldn't it be 18 times 4 because he doesn't get any sturdy against it? So it's just my damage multiplier, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. 18 times 4. 36, 60,
72.
Okay.
72. Actually, times 2 because it's a crit still. So no, sorry, because there's no M. Sorry,
no,
72 points of damage. That's he's looking. He's you see him stagger back, and like you can see his eyes cannot focus at the moment, and he's trying to shake it off and shake his head. Is there anything you want to do with your movement action at this point, or
no? I'm just moving around the ring, looking like
a boxer. Professor Kronos, if I may, will roll his eyes, massage his temple a little bit, and go, "This isn't going to work. Can I quickly do a time jump into the past?" Go to the bank, get a big suitcase of money, travel back in time, and be ready for when the blob inevitably loses with a big suitcase of money to make up for it.
Question is, how are you going to get the money from the bank? Oh, your money.
Yeah, my money. My money.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So spend the focus, and we will see Professor Kronos shimmer, and then a couple of days earlier, we see him walking into a bank. So how much money do you take out?
I don't know. How much do we think that game is going to cost him? Like, was it
10 to 1 odds?
Imagine
what the bet
10 to 1 odds. And you go ahead and give me a vigilance check right now, difficulty 12, to see if you overheard what he told his manager to bet.
Vigilance.
Okay, you got it. So you heard him tell his manager to bet 20 large.
200,000.
$200,000.
I'll get out 200,000.
Now, you're getting it out in cash or a cashier's check?
Cash.
Okay.
Put it
So
in
you
a
get this
briefcase.
huge, they look at you. They look at you but they bring out these two huge duffel bags. And you walk out of the bank and then shimmer, and then you bring yourself back to the present, and you've got these two duffel bags of cash
money,
with you,
just in case.
just in case. The blob is he's definitely shaken. So, and he looks angry. So now he's coming to Kars hard, and it looks like he's going to do everything in his power to put you down on the ground. And he's going to be using the power Clobber. So the character makes a close attack against an enemy. If the attack is a success, the enemy takes regular damage. On a fantastic success, takes double damage. No, that's not the right power to use. Smash is what he's going to use. Where is it? The character makes a close attack with an edge. And for this attack, add +1 to the character's melee damage bonus for every 2 points of focus they spend. So we'll see. He's going to try to smash it. And what is your melee defense?
17, good sir.
Okay, so he hits, and he hits pretty well, but he's got an edge, so he's going to go ahead. Because you get remember everybody, when you use an edge, you get the better of the two rolls. So we're going to go ahead and edge the 6 in the middle. Nope, 6 is still what comes out best. So that would be 66 points of damage. But what is your sturdy?
Sturdy 3. So
Sturdy 3, so it takes it down to ×7. So that's going to be
it'd be
48.
it'd be 3. It'd be 3 times 10, won't it? Because sturdy reduces the damage multiplier, doesn't it?
Yep, by 3.
Yeah, so it's 3 times 10, so it'd be 36 damage instead.
That is correct. But he is going to spend edge to increase it up to 50 points of damage.
That's fine. Would have shielded again, but I thought that'd be unfair on poor old Fred. He said make it look good.
So he hit you hard. He's still shaking. And he's still wobbly on his feet. And he takes no other actions. What would you like to do?
Wow. All right. First off, I start healing some of that damage.
With fast healing.
Yeah, healing factor. So I heal some damage because that automatically happens. And then I'm like, not bad. Not bad. He's going to sort of get back up, and then he's going to throw a couple of abilities together at once here. So he is going to do. Where is it? Vicious attack. Is that what I want? No, it's not vicious attack. So I've got to try and find all of my abilities. I have so here we go. Yeah. So I'm going to do focused fury, and I'm going to also use my ability to automatically make it a Marvel success as well. So that's 5 off that, and then I will be adding points of damage to this once I've rolled it. So that 6 in the middle is a Marvel. To make it double damage, and then I will add up to your level amount, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So I will spend 8 focus and add 4 more points of damage.
Nice. So 44 points of damage.
Yeah. So it is. Yes. So what is it? 6. Oh, he's got sturdy, hasn't he? So
what's your multiplier? He's 33, so reduce your multiplier by 3.
Okay, so that's sturdy. Yeah, so it'd be down to 1 times 6 plus 7 plus 4. 10, 17 times 2.
Okay, so 34 points of damage, and
then I'm going to do the thing again and do exploit again. And this is now a hit against his resilience.
Which his resilience defense is 17.
Okay, and I get an edge on my combat attacks. So there you go. 17, did you say?
17.
Oh, he actually misses. There you go.
Okay, so you come back across, and he managed. He's a trained boxer, so he manages to slip, and then he kind of gives you that half smile, like he's thinking, okay, he's starting to play along now. And it comes back around to him, and he picks up his foot and he slams it onto the ground. We're just using some different powers here to have some fun. He's using ground stomping, or ground shaking stomp. So he makes a melee attack against your agility defense. What is your agility defense?
17 because I have brawling, which allows me to use my melee defense instead
That's
of my
nice.
actually.
He gets a 17. And what is your damage reduction?
3, just like him.
Okay. So, 30 off 26, and it's only half damage because what it is, it's just the ground shakes. So 26, 13 points of damage.
Lovely.
But because it was not a fantastic success, you do not fall prone, but you feel the ground's a little shaky, and then you just kind of hear him chuckle under his breath, and then kind of rolls his shoulders and prepares for you to wade back in.
And wade I shall. And this is where I'm going to use one of my other new powers now. I'm going to use Unstoppable Assault. So it's a 15 focus action, which is good. And then I hit you. And then I get edge on combat. So 20.
20 is enough to get past his melee defense.
So
So tell us about this power.
So what this power does now is I get to use up to half my movement, and I get to hit him again as I dance. Nice. Basically, what it does is it allows me to hit everybody within reach, and then I can move and then hit everybody within reach again. So I will just. So he only takes. It's only. So he's got damage reduction 3. So it's only 13 points of damage, that one.
Okay.
And then the second one was a marvel.
Nice. Double damage.
Double damage. So that'd be 26 damage. And because it's a marvel, I will then use exploit because it needs to be for exploit to work. It has to be a marvel success.
Right. Got it. It's very cool.
So I've sort of blazed through the things, but I want to knock him out basically. This is against his agility defense again. So 21.
Okay.
And that will do full damage. So that is 4 times 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. And then plus 7. So 31. So he takes 13, 26, 31.
So what's it look like when you knock out the blob?
So he kind of hits him, and he's like, the blob's looking confident. He looks like, oh yeah, we're playing along now again. And the Eldritch Knight just kind of shakes his arm up. So, the old Henry Cavill cock and load his arms, goes in, starts doing fast jabs, moving around him. And that's the Unstoppable Assault. And then as the blob turns around, it just does this massive uppercut right on the underside of his chin and knocks him clean onto the canvas.
And he goes down and out, at least temporarily.
Well,
so everybody, the fight's everybody's erupting, and there's cheers and yells of Eldritch Knight, Eldritch Knight. And you see most people are going over to pick up their winnings. It looks like the vast majority of people bet on you because they've been observing what you did. So, and you see the Blob's manager go in, and he's like, come on, Fred, get up. We know it was going to be a hard fight. He's got smelling salts out, and Fred shakes his head, and he comes around, and he looks daggers at you. He's like, oh, you did me dirty. I thought we had a deal.
I'll wave at him. Right. I'll wave and point at the bags.
Don't worry, my compatriot will sort out your losses for tonight. You won't go. You won't go empty-handed.
It wasn't just money; it was rep. You made me look like a fool in there. So what I need is an ego check from Professor Kronos.
Me?
You got to convince him.
You were the one who just did him.
With trouble, because he's not interested in helping you guys anymore.
God.
But it's standard difficulty 14. Now, remember, you can use karma to offset trouble, like to give yourself an edge, and then it would just be a straight flat roll.
I think I have more trouble.
Also, can I help here, Aaron? So, you know how he said, I've damaged his rep. Can I spend a point of karma to raise his hand in the air and cheer him to the crowd and be like, hey, it's Fred, everybody. It's the Fred Dukes. And just really big him up to the crowd. I'll spend a point of karma to do it as well.
Yeah. If you want to spend a point of karma, give me a ego check We're gonna do a resisted ego check. So non-combat ego roll. You against Fred Dukes to see if that kind of assuages him a little bit.
15. I don't really have much in the way of ego.
He only got a 13 though, because he doesn't either. So when you lift his hand and the crowd turns and watches, and people are clapping, they're going, "Yeah,
Oh, thank
go
goodness.
Dukes." He's like, "All right," and he starts to smile a little bit. So now it's just going to be a straight difficulty 10 ego roll for Professor Kronos to convince him to take the cash.
Gosh.
And once again, you can spend karma to give yourself a point of edge on this.
I will spend karma.
Okay.
I'll spend karma. How do I spend the karma?
It's in your top right. Just
make
drop it down by him.
Yeah, just make the roll, and then afterwards you can.
Okay.
You can edit
ego, yeah.
Ego, difficulty 10 because you. Oh, you don't even need it. Get a 16. You're fine. So Professor Kronos, he's looking at you and he's like,
really terrible old boy. I'm very, very, very sorry. Sometimes he does get a little carried away. You know, he isn't from around here. He was born in the 1600s. So.
Well, I'm not here to tell you. You hit like Logan. That was like a ton of bricks. That was a damn good fight. And since you're paying me for my loss, I guess we'll call it even. But don't give me the money here. I don't want people to think I took a dive or anything.
Oh,
so
no.
Let's go back to the locker room with me. We'll get this all sorted.
Suddenly dragging 2 sacks of cash behind.
That's right. The Eldridge Knight is probably distracting the crowd from the duffel bags by being like, "Yeah, hey guys."
There's like people coming up, they're like begging for your autograph, and people want selfies with you, and you've got the bartenders everybody running. You can't use your cameras in here. You can't use your phones. Put them away. So then people are like holding out T-shirts and things just to get your signatures. You've been swamped by this entire crowd. There's that reporter comes up and he's like, really like to get an exclusive with you. Maybe you could sit down with our morning show tomorrow and talk about the fight with the Blob. So they're taking up your time. Professor Kronos, you go into the back.
Excellent.
With Fred Dukes into his locker room. And it's a nicely appointed locker room. Obviously, like he said, he's their house fighter. So he's actually got more like a mini, almost apartment. He's got a little kitchenette. He's got a little seating room. He's got like his own, nice appointed bathroom and showers and everything. Sits down on the couch, pulls out this huge bag of chips and a 6-pack of beer. He's like, "You want one?"
Yes, why not?
Pops it open, hands it to you. He's like, "All right." And he's counting through the cash. He's like, "All right, what do you want to know?"
Well, I want to know where she is, so we can jolly well find her and have a conversation with her.
Oh, that's easy. She's having dinner over at Luck tonight. It's just a couple of blocks from here. I was supposed to go there and meet her.
Ah, I see. Okay. And do you know where she will be after that?
No. From what she told me is she's looking for cash so she can outfit her crew, and she's looking for a team to go off world with her to help her out with a problem. That's all she would say without me signing on the dotted line. I told her I'd think about it. Meet her.
Do you know where her team are based?
Oh man, if you go towards Luck, you'll see. Yeah. I don't know. She didn't seem to like these guys. I mean, she always made sure that when I was talking to her, they were nowhere around. But you can see them. They're in these. They all dress alike. They're in these dark suits. And they've got this weird little lapel pin on. They're clearly soldiers or guards or something. And there's like half a dozen of them, maybe. But wherever she goes, they're like walking around the perimeter and guarding the area.
Ah, right. Well, excellent. What's this restaurant like then?
Oh, it's pretty fancy. I mean, he points
over.
We've
got our best suits on.
Enormous suit and tie. Oh yeah, you'll fit right in.
Well, thank you very much, old
cuisine. Boy. It cost me $2,000 to eat there, and that's just in appetizers. But
wow. Well, excellent.
Go ahead and give me a either a vigilance or an ego check. Difficulty 16.
Well, it's probably vigilance.
All right. So as you're getting ready to go, you kind of tag on something he said that her guards, she didn't like her guards. And she always wanted to talk to him alone. So there might be more information there about that. And that kind of just trickles into the back of your mind as you're getting ready to get
What?
up and take off.
Okay. Just as I'm about to go, I'll pause a second, turn around and go, just one more thing. I muted myself before that. So he walks,
Gotcha.
just walks a little bit far away, turns around and goes, just one more thing. You said she didn't like her men, her guards?
Yeah, I got the impression that she got saddled with him, and that if she could give him the slip, she would.
Ah.
I don't know. Seems like whatever she's doing, it seems like she doesn't want them to have anything to do with it. I don't know. She was, hey, I've heard stories about Jessica Drew, spy and everything else. So I just chalked it up to her being squirrely, but she definitely wanted to keep everything on the down low.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your time, old boy. I better go and get my colleague. Have a
Oh, yeah, I'm
lovely
sure he's
evening.
getting swamped. Hey, with this 200 grand, I guarantee you I'm going to have a couple lovely evenings. Come back anytime you
Fantastic.
want.
Ah, thank you, sir. Right, we'll leave. I'll go get the Eldritch Knight, rescue him heroically from his, you know, mob. And right, we have to go for dinner.
Oh, good. I was only sweating a little bit, so I should be all right.
Right, so we'll head over for dinner.
Okay, as you guys go deeper into Hudson Yards and head towards where Luck is there anything, I mean, like, he's told you that her guards kind of patrol the area around there. Anything you want to do as you approach to?
I mean, we should be subtle, tactful, perhaps maybe, be stealthy and
I mean, how busy are the streets still? I know it's quite late, but you said there was quite a lot of pedestrians still knocking about.
Yeah. As you get closer towards Luck, you can still see. I mean, this area of Hudson Yards, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of clubs. There are still quite a few people around. Give me vigilance checks, difficulty 14.
And just
Okay. So Eldridge Knight, you're able to easily pick out at least 3 of these guards in and around near the Luck entrance, some of them across the street. All of them are kind of focused on the restaurant, though.
okay. It's see what I'm thinking is we time it and we sort of tag on to a group that go in. So I'm guessing like people going in and out of the restaurant is probably quite a prominent, busy restaurant. So basically, I
teleport
hold.
in.
Oh, I mean, yes, we could do that as well, Cronus, if that's something you can do.
Yes. Hold on. Teleport. Yes, teleport blind. I can teleport in there. I can't teleport other. I can teleport object. I should have said, what's teleport to? Oh, that's distance. Um,
Didn't take teleport. Oh, I don't know.
I was busy taking time travel stuff.
Well, remember,
It's in the name.
remember what your last timeout power is. You could
No.
stop time for everybody, but the 2 of you for 4 rounds and just walk in the front door.
Let's do that.
Get away with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
we'll do that. This time without knocking people over.
Okay.
yeah. We'll
So,
probably be used to it now.
So go ahead and spend the focus on it. And once again, as soon as you enact your power, time stops all around you. But now you've only got 4 rounds to get inside the restaurant. So what I need from you guys is It's not hard. I mean, you guys can basically just sprint, but it's still weird. I mean, you're still dodging frozen people and everything. Go ahead.
And I blink over.
You, yeah, there's no reason why you could not blink within your time
I'll just do
bubble.
that.
But
I'll do that.
okay, so you easily blink over. Eldritch Knight, I just need a difficulty 10 agility check for you to cut through the distance.
My agility
easily
is
make it.
awful.
I have agility
So-
0, so
So what happens is the Eldritch Knight you run across, you're dodging everybody, and as you get to the front door of luck and open it, Professor Kronos appears right next to you. The two of you walk in, the door shuts
Myself off a
behind you, and then time goes back to normal. And you're standing there, and a hostess looks at you.
Good
Oh.
evening.
Oh, good evening. Oh, it is so wonderful to have celebrities here. Do you have reservations?
We don't. We'd actually just like to talk to one of your clientele, if we may.
Well, I give me one, because the hostess opened her big mouth. I'm going to do a little vigilance check here, real quick. Hold on. As soon as I get the right person out for this. Okay. So you see a woman, a well-dressed woman with long black hair, turn and sort of look up at the hostess stand. She's sitting at a nice table right in the middle of the restaurant.
Oh, brilliant. I'll wave
Now,
at her.
she cocks her head and sort of waves back, because remember, the blob was supposed to be recruiting people for her, so
Yeah.
she may think that is why you are
So,
here.
I'm just going to walk over. So, excellent. Thank you.
So the host is like, oh, what?
No,
what?
it's fine. Thank you. Just
What?
bumble
And she
my way
just
through.
sputters out and lets you go by because you're celebrities here. Do both of you approach the table?
yeah, I mean, I'm probably a few steps behind Cronus because he kind of just did his thing. I was like, oh, I'm really sorry about that, and just walks after him.
And once again, you see this beautiful woman with long black hair look up at you. I was not expecting the two of you here,
No.
but
Indeed.
please feel free to join me.
Excellent. I'll call over a waiter for a menu.
And a waiter comes over. They bring another chair. It's a smaller table. Sort of normally would seat two, but it's big enough for three to squeeze, since neither of you are Kingdom Quake size. And the waiter brings a couple of other menus. Jessica waves to the hostess to let her know it's okay. So, Heroes of New York City.
Yes.
Great Operation Pendragon. The
Indeed.
forces that stopped Hydra in its
Yes.
tracks and sent it packing.
Yes.
It's very interesting to meet you in person.
Yeah, we thought so.
Yes.
So, how did you come to be here tonight, looking for me?
Well, your actual person of this physical reality is in another country at the moment, and of course that raised the wrong eyebrows. And we would very much like to talk to you about your previous employer, and how the operation is running from the planet that you're from. So we'd like to take you into custody, if that's the right word. Is that the right word?
I feel like we can skip the whole custody part. Maybe we can come to an arrangement.
Yes. Yeah, we don't need to do any of that
We
prison
prefer to.
stuff, do we? No, we could just have a chat.
Did,
Well, I mean, obviously,
did any of the guards see you come in?
no.
No.
Hmm.
That was
This
brilliantly
may
timed.
work. This may work out just fine. Would you be able to get us all out of here the same way you got yourself in unseen?
Yes.
All right then. Well, let's have dinner and have a chat then.
Excellent.
I must say,
So,
Cronus, tonight has gone rather well.
What did you say?
We haven't had to have any violence. I swear it's the others that always get us into
It is the
violence.
others that get us into trouble.
Yes, we could just have these lovely conversations and, with a charming young lady. It's absolutely fine.
What?
well, I am
Violence is never the answer.
as you are here, you must know that I've been recruiting for help. And
Yes.
you're perhaps exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Let me be clear. I did come here as an agent of the Supremacy, which is the overarching organization that controls the Hydra forces on my Earth. And she holds up her wrist, and you see that little black band on her wrist. However, what you probably do not know is I am a double agent, and I work for the resistance on my Earth. And I came here specifically with the forces to find true heroes of this world to help me defeat the supremacy on my own world and return freedom to a planet that has not seen it since the end of World War II.
See, now this is interesting
What?
because obviously your
Hmm.
world is our world, and we were taken or displaced at the end of World War II. So, I mean, I don't want to blow our own horn, but it seems like the Allies lost because we weren't there.
It is a very interesting yet fortuitous set of circumstances.
Hmm.
Um, and it's lucky that we've been able to reach out. Well, I say we, those of this world, have been working on a way to travel to our world. However, we're missing a couple of details. Mostly the codes to make it work, which we're hoping you would have. Um, and you could perhaps aid us, and we could go back to the planet and defeat this supremacy, right?
Absolutely. This is all I've been looking for. And I can easily open the portal. I can use my own genetic code and the dimensional frequency of my own body to lock us into Earth 56438 and travel there. But it's important for you to understand we have very little time. Once I disappear from this restaurant, it'll become very obvious to those agents still on this planet that something is awry. And although
Yeah.
they cannot travel back to our Earth, they can communicate with it sporadically. We are going to need to
Ah.
move very quickly if we're going to get through the portal and be able to destroy the
Well,
technology
we'll
and stop the supremacy. So,
we'll get you straight there then. Um, these associates of yours, the men in the suits, who are they?
yes. Oh, they were Hydra officers and foot soldiers who were left on this
Ah,
side.
I
Once
see.
they all have the ability to detect the vibrations of those of us from Earth 56438. So they were able to triangulate on my position. And once they saw who I was, I assumed control and authority over their unit as a member of the Supremacy. And
Okay.
unfortunately, they've been tagging along with me ever since.
A
They're
bit hard to shake them off.
hard to shake. They're harmless in and of themselves. I mean, they're just humans after all. But um, once I'm gone, they will make contact with others. And
Is
we
the
will need to.
entire
Oh,
is the entire group here?
no, no, no. There are three or four of them outside of Luck now, but they're in communications back with our safe house and with others who are here. So it'd be
Right.
very
Well,
difficult for us to
have to be
stop
quick.
them without word getting out. So it's
Let
very good
me
that you were able to avoid them.
yes, let me make a phone call. I'll pick up the phone and we'll be calling
Mr.
I've
Fury
forgotten it.
Jr.?
That's the word. Thank you. Mr. Fury Jr. to give him a brief and help us with an extraction and to have the portal machine ready um, for a um, quick escape, but also to assemble um, our our colleagues for the mission.
Excellent. He's like, well, that's unexpected, but damn good news. Find out more about this resistance force and more about the supremacy and where the hell their portal device is on their world. And you get that information out of her, get her to the convention center. By the time you get there, we'll have the portal energized at least so you can lock it in. And I'll go ahead and make sure that I get a hold of Sherwood and Kingdom Quake and Lodestar. They'll be on site by the time you get there. We're going to need to push this mission out tonight. So make haste, gentlemen.
I'm wearing the wrong outfit for an adventure. um, all right,
you have time.
Yes, this is true. Just
imagine the time freezes and he's there in another outfit. It's like, wait.
I will ask her those questions.
She goes, well, the Supremacy headquarters, it's not only the offices for all the Hydra figureheads. It contains all the records, all the dossiers, all the plans for future projects. It's also where the Supremacy members live. And it's in the tri-state region of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I can take you right there if we need to go there.
That would explain why they attacked New York.
Yes, that does make sense.
The mother portal, the original portal, the one that everything is linked to, is somewhere in New York City, but I've never been there. But I think I know people who can help us figure it out. If we get separated after we get there, the location of the resistance, their secret headquarters, is in the upper floor of an apartment. It's a brownstone in Hell's Kitchen. It's right above a shuttered old bookstore called the Book Nook.
Cool.
More than likely, if you get there without me, May Parker will open the door. She's a lovely old lady. You just need to tell her that I sent you, not Spider-Woman. To tell her Jess Drew sent you. Some others may be there. Steve Rogers has been missing for a while. We don't know what happened to him. But Storm may be there. Bishop may be there. Nighthawk, Maria Hill, America Chavez may be there. They're all agents of the resistance. There's a few others of us that are scattered about, but you know what? You need to go there. If you're not with me, you just need to make it very clear to them that you are allies, because they can bring a lot of firepower to bear very quickly. And I would hate to see anything happen to you from a misunderstanding. Hopefully we'll just be together when we get there. But is there anything else that you wanted to know before we head out into the night?
I think that's it.
From memory, didn't something happen to Steve Rogers of their world?
Yeah, in your first episode, he was the one who came out of the portal and told you guys that the Scarlet Surfer, I believe, was right behind him, and then he was killed right in front of your eyes.
Okay, we won't bring that up.
No, I will. Oh yes. Sorry to tell you, but your Rogers, I believe, is dead. He came with us, or sorry, didn't come with us. We kind of jumped into this reality, and then he was shortly behind us from another direction. I don't know how all this. Anyway, he's dead.
And you see, she sits very straight for a second, and her face goes completely blank, as if she's trying to master herself. And you see a small tear come out of one eye, and she just sighs. It's just like all of the life and energy and breath just is pushed out of her body. And you can tell, even without doing any kind of check, that they were obviously very close. But even just another reason why we need to make sure the supremacy falls. All right, if you can get me out of here unseen, let's go. Let's start the end of this tonight.
Very nice. Oh, you're a old chap.
Right. We will. Oh, what should I do first? I'll call a taxi. To have a taxi waiting for us outside. And then when the taxi pulls up, we'll wait by the concierge. And when the taxi pulls up, we'll do the time stop. And then get in the taxi and basically be be in the taxi when the time freeze stops. So then we just go and hopefully they won't see us. Unless you want to kill them while we're doing the time stop.
No.
Or knock them out.
No, that'd draw far too much attention. Better that they think she's still in here for a long period of time. It gives us a little bit more time to play with.
Okay.
And if you still have the time bubble up when you get in the taxi, then the taxi driver would be within the time bubble, and you would actually be able to go in the taxi before the time bubble collapsed.
Yes, we'll do that then.
So you spend your focus points, you enact your time bubble, the three of you move through, you get in this cab that's waiting for you, the cab driver takes off, and then time comes crashing back with these guards unaware of what has just happened. And that is where we're going to stop tonight as we continue with Chapter 5, National Emergency, the Cataclysm of Kang. Please join us next week as other members of Operational Pendragon will return. We will see what it looks like when they go home for the first time in 70 plus years and return to Earth 56438. Thanks everybody for watching. Dan, thank you very much for joining me on this. I know
Thank you for having
rusty,
us.
but
no, it was fun. Very enjoyable. Had a lot of fun with it as always. It was
good
great.
to be back.
Good to be back. Yes.
So I've got a couple of quick plugs before we go. So friend of the channel, The Adventures in Lollygagging, Steven over there has written an amazing Weird West role-playing game called Huckleberry. You can get it on Drive-Thru RPG right now. It's a fun Weird West game. I hope to run it myself, maybe over here on Garblag at some point after we finish up the Marvel Multiverse. It's a lot of fun. The Adventures in Lollygagging did a actual play of it last Saturday, and that's up on YouTube, and they're going to do another one. They're going to finish up the adventure this coming Saturday. That would be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. for those of you in Great Britain. So you might want to check that out on YouTube too. But if Weird West is something you enjoy, please give it a look-see. Also over on the Lollygaggers tomorrow night, Thursday night, once again in the absolute middle of the dark in Europe, but at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can see me playing some Simba Room on the Lollygaggers. Probably going to die tomorrow night, so it's always fun to see my characters get absolutely murdered. And if you come back on the Lollygaggers at the same time on Friday, you'll actually get to see me starting a brand new Dragonbane campaign. So I'll actually get to murder some characters, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check them out. Come back next week as we get deep into the Cataclysm of Kang. Also, please join us on the Garblag Discord. We're all there. We're all chatting all the time about role-playing games, about Pete's amazing new game, Heroic Deeds. You've got to check that out. You can tell me how bad I'm messing up Marvel Multiverse, or feel free to make that comment in the YouTube. I'm quite happy to look at it, shake my head, cry in a corner, and then I'll respond to you because you're probably right and I'm probably wrong. And I'm completely comfortable with that. So that's us for tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Pete to get us out of here. So thanks and good night, everybody.
Good night.